All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are unpacking some truly eye-opening insights from Dr. Alex Carter all about men's health and aging. We're going to systematically break down the mechanics of the male body after 60, specifically focusing on vascular health and vitality. And honestly, what we're about to explore totally flips the script on some of those deeply ingrained assumptions we all have about getting older. So let me ask you this. What if I told you that one of the biggest threats to your sexual health after 60 isn't actually aging itself? Crazy, right? Millions of guys notice a decline in erections and just kind of shrug it off, mistakenly assuming it's simply a normal, unavoidable part of getting older. You know the drill. They blame a drop in hormones, maybe genetics, or just the daily grind of stress. But according to top urologists like Dr. Carter, that's barely a fraction of the story. The truth is way more surprising. And it's actually tied to things you might be doing every single day without even realizing it. Look, a lot of men think occasional erection problems are caused by low testosterone alone. But here is the major paradigm shift. Erections are actually less about your desire and heavily dependent on healthy circulation. Think of it this way. Your ability to get and keep an erection entirely depends on healthy arteries delivering blood efficiently. If you don't have good blood flow, well, the plumbing simply cannot work, no matter how in the mood you might be. To really wrap our heads around this, we need to geek out on the biology for just a second, specifically looking at a chemical called nitric oxide. When you're sexually aroused, your brain fires off signals that trigger the release of this exact chemical. And what nitric oxide does is pretty incredible. It literally relaxes your blood vessels, widening them up so blood can rapidly rush into the penis. From there, the veins act kind of like a one-way valve, trapping that blood to create and maintain the erection. So logically, anything that reduces your nitric oxide or messes with this delicate circulatory dance is going to weaken the entire process. Imagine a standard garden hose. When the water flows freely, everything's working perfectly, right? But if you step on that hose over and over again, the flow gets restricted, it gets weaker, and it becomes totally unreliable. Well, your blood vessels work in exactly the same way. The problem is, some of our absolute most common daily habits are essentially like stepping on that hose. They are silently damaging our blood vessels over time, and most people don't even realize they're hitting the accelerator on this damage until it's way too late.
Okay, so let's dive right into it. Habit number 1. The first silent killer here is sitting for long periods of time.
Now, whether you're retired, working from home, driving a ton, or just spending a few too many hours binge-watching TV, prolonged sitting just drastically slows down your circulation. It actively shuts down the enzymes that are supposed to keep your blood vessels healthy. And over time, this kind of inactivity doesn't just make your joints stiff, it actually contributes to weight gain, insulin resistance, high blood pressure, and whole body inflammation. And let me tell you, every single one of those is a major enemy of healthy blood flow. Yet so many of us spend 8, 10, maybe 12 hours a day just sitting. The good news, though, research shows that just a few minutes of movement can completely turn this around. You absolutely don't need intense, grueling workouts. Just a brisk walk after a meal, standing up every 30 minutes, or taking the stairs is enough to keep that blood moving and hit the brakes on that inflammatory cascade.
All right, moving on. Habit number 2 might literally be sitting right there on your dinner table, and that is eating way too much ultra-processed food.
As we get older, our bodies just get super sensitive to poor nutrition. Foods that are loaded with added sugars, refined carbs, trans fats, crazy amounts of sodium, these are direct threats to your vascular system. And the crucial thing here is how this food interacts with a very specific, delicate part of your body called the endothelium. Now, the endothelium is the ultra-thin inner lining of your blood vessels, and guess what its main job is? Pumping out that vital nitric oxide we just talked about. When you eat a diet full of heavily processed garbage, it acts like sandpaper on that endothelium. It damages it. And when the endothelium gets sick, your nitric oxide production totally drops off. Less nitric oxide equals less blood flow, and less blood flow equals weaker erections. It is a direct chain reaction. And the wild part is, most people completely underestimate the immediate impact of their diet. Just look at the data on this. While your blood vessel function might be perfectly healthy right before a fast food meal, it temporarily plummets within just hours after eating it. Hours! Now imagine repeating that pattern day in and day out for years. The result is this slow, gradual decline that so many guys mistakenly blame on just getting older. But in reality, it's their diet silently suffocating their arteries. This is exactly why urologists are always preaching about feeding your arteries with colorful vegetables, nuts, olive oil, and fatty fish. If you feed your arteries right, you are directly supporting your performance.
Okay, habit number 3. This is one that I think almost all of us drastically underestimate,
and that is poor sleep.
You know, a lot of us think sleep only dictates how groggy we're going to feel the next morning, but it actually plays a massive, foundational role in hormone production and blood vessel repair. If you're constantly skimping on rest, you are literally robbing your blood vessels of their nightly maintenance schedule. During deep sleep, your body is hard at work releasing hormones that maintain your testosterone levels and repair your cardiovascular system. It is a period of crucial restoration. But if you contrast that with sleep deprivation or conditions like sleep apnea, where you actually stop breathing for brief moments, that is a whole different story. Sleep apnea drops your oxygen levels, puts tremendous stress on your blood vessels, spikes your cortisol, jacks up your blood pressure, and drives up inflammation. It's basically the perfect storm for wrecking healthy blood flow. In fact, guys with sleep disorders like apnea have a significantly higher risk of erectile dysfunction for this exact reason. So, keeping the room cool, ditching the heavy late-night meals, and turning off those screens before bed, that could profoundly improve your vascular health.
All right, let's tackle habit number 4. This is the one that many experts consider the absolute most damaging of the bunch: smoking, or using any kind of nicotine products. Whether we're talking about cigarettes, cigars, or even vaping, introducing nicotine into your system has absolutely devastating effects on your blood vessels. I mean, it's instant. Nicotine causes your blood vessels to constrict and shrink almost immediately, essentially choking off your circulation. It shreds that delicate endothelium we learned about, it ramps up the buildup of arterial plaque, and it severely tanks your nitric oxide levels. In simple terms, smoking is launching a direct, active attack on the exact biological system that is responsible for healthy erections. And this brings us to what is probably the single most critical takeaway from this entire explainer. You see, penile arteries are much smaller than the coronary arteries that lead to your heart. Because they are so tiny, they act kind of like the canary in the coal mine. Damage shows up there way earlier. So, in a lot of cases, erectile dysfunction isn't just an isolated bedroom issue. It is actually your body's early warning system flashing a giant red light that blood vessels throughout your entire body are under attack. Ignoring difficulty maintaining an erection means you are missing a massive, vital window to catch and address the root cause of cardiovascular disease before it actually strikes your heart. But listen, here is the truly encouraging news in all of this. Aging definitely does not mean you have to just give up your vitality. Your body has this incredible, almost unbelievable ability to bounce back and recover. Most people don't realize that our blood vessels are constantly adapting to the choices we make every single day. Even if you've smoked for decades or eaten a poor diet for years, studies clearly show that making healthy lifestyle changes can rapidly improve your circulation and, by extension, your sexual function. Every single walk, every healthy meal, and every solid night of sleep is a step sending your body in the right direction.
So how exactly do we take back control? Well, Dr. Carter lays out 4 super straightforward, actionable steps for us. Number 1. Move more. Set a timer on your phone, stand up every 30 minutes, and just aim for 30 minutes of moderate activity most days of the week. Number 2, prioritize whole foods. Cut back on the processed meals so you can protect that vital endothelium. Number 3, protect your sleep like your health depends on it, because honestly, it absolutely does. And number 4, if you smoke, make a rock-solid plan to quit. Seek out support, because every single attempt brings you one step closer to success.
To wrap things up, we're going to conclude this explainer with a really profound thought from Dr. Carter. He says, your body often whispers before it screams. Now, changes in erectile function might feel a bit uncomfortable to talk about, but they are giving you incredibly valuable data about your overall health. Sexual health isn't often its own little silo separate from your heart health, brain health, or longevity. They are all intricately connected. So my question to leave you with today is this. What is your body whispering to you right now? And what choice are you going to make today to start listening to it?